As you guys know, today is Halloween. And today we have got some weird floaty stuff going on in the screen. I just kind of sweep away at it in real life because I feel like it's actually there. But it's Halloween. Happy Halloween. And today we're going to be looking at some messed up stuff because some messed up things can happen on Halloween. And actually, guys, I am not normally this pale. It's just the lighting situation I'm in right now. So, and it's the computer screen. See, it's me. Hello. Okay. So we're going to be starting off with a video called The Poop Lady. This is already, like, really not sounding good. But we're going to watch it. If it ever loads. Thank you. Gonna load, buddy?
My mother used to put poop in a jug. Actually, by the time you put it in there, it's actually a dirty water jug is what that is. So, that's what all those dirty water jugs are about.
This lady just has bottles of poop and pee all over her house. Well, maybe pee, I don't know, but like, what?
I want to say that the reason that Shanna didn't get rid of all those bottles is because she's lazy. I hope it's not sentimental to her.
This lady's entire house is just filled up with crap. Like, not even joking, crap in bottles.
This house has a septic issue. It's supposed to be drained once every 4 years. And there's still some space in the toilet, but I don't want it to overflow.
So that just gives you a reason to crap in bottles? If you don't have enough money, do something about it. I don't care. Do something. This lady's a mental case.
So I've been using a bucket.
It's an orange bucket filled with actual poop.
When the bucket is full of pee and poop, it's really hard to lift it. So I just put it in a smaller bucket.
And while she's
take it outside and empty it.
So while she's doing this, she's getting poop all over her floor, all over her bathroom floor, all over her house, and she doesn't even care. And she's taking this and putting it in a smaller bucket and dumping it outside, apparently.
My neighbors could view it as being odd.
Could? How about do? No one does that. No one. No one. No one. You shouldn't even do that. You're messed up.
That I dumped the bucket out in the front yard. No neighbors have said anything to me about it either, though.
The reason they don't say anything to you about it is because they think you're so crazy that they don't even want to come near you. She's doing dishes in a poopy sink.
This
Small poop bucket my mother used before she died.
Is that poop all over the bucket?
Yeah, it's poop.
So do you wash your hands? Like you're gonna go eat soup in a minute. Are you gonna wash your hands before that, or are you just gonna worry about it?
No, actually, I don't. Okay, now is this...
So she's not worrying about washing her hands before she eats.
This is not the worst hoard you've ever cleared out.
She's eating 2 feet from all the poop and urine.
He said that she's eating 2 feet from the poop and the urine, but there's actually poop around the lip of her bowl.
Do you think I meet the definition of a hoarder?
The poop, man. You got a ton of poop in this house. What is the main cause of the smell?
Musty odor, having to do with mold and dust.
No.
No?
Is that brand new information to you? To think that the PC...
She just said that the main smell of the odor is because of Must and odor. Must and mold?
Urine has something to do with the smell.
I guess so, because I thought it was due to the mold and dust.
Oh, and I guess it's brand new information that the shit is the smell.
Some people would argue, how do you
Pardon my language.
feces in the house is bad?
But wait, I don't smell it anymore.
It's extremely
Anymore, so you have smelled it.
feces, mold, and bloody
Why are these guys not wearing a freaking
It's
mask?
gonna be hard, but I'm gonna give up some stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and eat some of the contaminated food, and then the party's over. Because I have to get it, because when somebody goes on intervention, they want to get high one last time. The party ends for me tomorrow.
How is eating contaminated food a party?
Why the does it matter? I've been eating poop for 12 years.
I'll bleep that out. She's been eating poop for 12 years.
You're getting a high out of thinking that you've got fecal matter in your food.
It's my last blaze of glory.
Can't you get like the E. coli or the Ebola, some kind of virus from that? Christ alive. That lady needs some help. I'll come back with the next video in a minute.
I'm gonna give you
Okay, this next one is so jacked up, I don't even want to look at the screen while I play it. So I'm just gonna... Here we go. Let's just listen to this together.
In the late 1940s, a group of Russian researchers discovered an experimental gas-based stimulant which could eradicate the need for sleep in humans. 5 test subjects were chosen to test
Oh yeah, by the way,
gas.
this video is called the Russian Sleep Experiment. I'll put all these videos in the link, all these 2 videos down in the link, or down in the description. You'll see the links down there.
All deemed enemies of the state. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake, as the gas was toxic in high concentrations.
So just because they did that, like they were high crime, whatever, it doesn't mean you need to put them on a weird gas.
This was before closed-circuit cameras, so their only means of monitoring the subjects were microphones and a few thick glass portholes into the chamber. The chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep on, running water, a toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. Everything was 5 for the first 5 days. The
That's good.
subjects hardly complained, having been promised, falsely, that they would be freed if they did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversations and activities were monitored closely, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past life, and the general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the 4-day mark.
That's weird.
After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were, and started to demonstrate signs of paranoia. They stopped talking to one another, and began alternately whispering to the microphones and portholes. Oddly, they seemed to think they could win the trust of their researchers by turning over their fellow comrades. At first, the researchers suspected that this was an effect of the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming.
So one of them started screaming after like 9 days, I guess. That's kind of weird.
He ran the length of the chamber, repeatedly yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. After he tore his vocal cords, he still continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The most surprising thing about this behavior is how the other captives reacted to it, or didn't react to it.
Ugh.
They continued whispering into the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The 3 non-screaming captives took books apart, smearing page after page with their own feces and pasted them over the glass portholes. The screaming promptly stopped, and so did the whispering in the microphones. After 3 more days passed, The researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they weren't working, as they thought it impossible that no sound could be coming from the chamber. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they said they would
14
not do.
days.
They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke a response from the captives. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you your immediate freedom." To their surprise, they heard one single phrase in a calm voice respond, "We no longer wish to be freed." Debate broke out among the researchers and the government officials funding the experiment.
That is jacked up,
Unable to
man.
provoke any other response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day.
We no
That
longer
night,
wish to
the
be
chamber
free.
was flushed of the gas and filled with fresh air. Immediately, voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different subjects began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones, to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened and soldiers sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside the chamber. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one can rightly call a state that any of them were in living. The food rations for the past 5
That
days
is-
had not been
this-
so much as touched. There were chunks of rotting
I'm just gonna tell you,
flesh
this
from
is
the
a
dead
true
subject's
story.
thighs and chest stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber, which allowed 4 inches of red liquid to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much of the liquid that was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the position and angles of the wounds indicated that all of them were self-inflicted. The organs below the rib cages of all 4 test subjects had been removed. While the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place, the skin and muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the rib cage. All the removed blood vessels and organs remained intact. They had just been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen working, digesting what was apparently their own flesh, which they had been eating for many days.
Ah. But there's enough
Most
fruit in
of the
there.
soldiers were Russian operatives, but still, many refused to return to that chamber in order to remove the test subjects. The subjects continued to scream to be left alone in the chamber and alternately begged and demanded that the gas be turned back on, lest they fall asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out. Another, gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off and an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth.
Oh.
5 more soldiers lost their lives, if you count ones that committed suicide. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured and was bleeding out quickly. The medical staff attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the normal hue and dose of morphine, and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the arm of one doctor.
That is messed
His
up.
heart continued beating for a full 2 minutes after he ran out of blood. Even after his heart stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes,
How?
struggling to attack anyone in reach and just repeating the word more, over and over, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to the medical facility, the 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back in his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him. He fought furiously against his restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him to sleep. He managed to tear most of the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on a wrist.
How?
It took a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under, and the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. In the autopsy of the test subject, it was found that his blood had triple the normal level of oxygen found in a human body.
That is so
The
messed up.
muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggle to not be subdued. The second survivor had been the first of the group to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head very violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought out. He shook his head yes when a nurse suggested that they try the surgery without anesthetic. He did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what little remained of his skin. The surgeon stated repeatedly that it should be medically impossible for the subject to still be alive. One terrified nurse stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk. Assuming this must be something of importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so he could write out his message. It was simple. Keep cutting. The other 2 test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic. The surgeon found it almost impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared their system in a normally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The researchers tried asking why. Why had they injured themselves? Why had they ripped out their own organs? Why did they want the gas? Only one response was given. I must remain awake. All 3 subjects' restraints were reinforced.
Ugh.
They were placed back into the chamber awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, an ex-KGB, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but were overruled. In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EEG monitor and had their restraints padded for a long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all 3 stopped struggling the moment they were back on the gas. It was obvious that, at this point, all 3 were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute was straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired for EEG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brainwaves in surprise. They were normal, but
I hate this video. Hate it. Give me a minute, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. This is just getting like really creepy. Just bleh.
most of the time, he just flatlined. It looked as if he was repeatedly suffering brain death before returning to normal again. As they focused on the paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw his eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brainwaves immediately changed to that of deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flat lines as the other one who had just died. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 other researchers. One of the 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank right between the eyes, then turned the gun to the mute subject and blew his brains out. He pointed the gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed, as the members of the medical and research team fled the room.
This is awful.
I won't be locked in here with these things. Not with you, he screamed. At what can no longer be called a man strapped to the table. What are you, he demanded. I must know. I must know. What are you? The subject smiled. Have you forgotten so easily? The subject asked. We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be freed at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence when you go to the nocturnal heaven where we cannot tread. The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's exposed heart and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out. So nearly free.
What the hell? There's no way that is actually true, but I believe it honestly. Well, I hope you guys do enjoy your Halloween. I myself am not going trick-or-treating. I'm probably just going to pass out candy. Yeah. I don't really care about it anymore. I can just go out and buy candy. I can just, yeah, it doesn't really matter to me anymore. Most of my friends are doing it, but I don't see the need to. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'll put a little disclaimer at the beginning of this video telling you, like, you can't stand creepy stories or disgusting things. Don't watch this video. Just have a good Halloween. Spend it with your friends. Spend it with your family. Treat it as a holiday that it should be. Go out and get some freaking candy, man. And just have a good time, you know? Alright, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell, and tell me down in the comments what you thought of the video and what you want to see from my next video. Peace. Real quick before the video starts, guys, I just want to say, if you can't stand any disgusting things or you can't stand anything that's creepy, I don't advise you to watch the rest of this video, so this is just a disclaimer. You know, do not watch this video, but at least don't be nice enough to do this. Happy Halloween, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.